hear me now? No. Yes, you can. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along. We have another round of X1 right up ahead of us. And today we head to the Belgian Grand Prix. Your commentators tonight are myself, Cockcast, and alongside me, as hopefully regularly, Rio Harris. Good evening, Rio. How excited are we for the race that we've got lying ahead of us around the Ardennes Forest?
I am ready, and I am hoping to see a free wide moment up Air Rouge and Radion, just for entertainment purposes.
Well, I mean, I ultimately wouldn't be surprised with the way that some of these drivers are racing each other. They race each other oh so hard, and well, we should certainly be in for what should be a very, very good race. 19 drivers should become 20 before lights out, and we've got some of the biggest names that you will see. We've got some new drivers as well, the likes of Iron Up Tanasi making his bow here in ExA X1, and we should be in for a very exciting race ahead of us. As now we're ticking down, we're getting ready. There we go. There's the 20th driver, and qualifying is set to get underway very, very soon. And well, let's get our early predictions in, Rio. Who are you backing?
You know what? I'm out bold. For the first time in X1, I'm gonna go. Alexei gets his first race win in X1, so I'm gonna back the Scuderia in this race.
Certainly a bold call. I think. Well, we'll see as we head into the beginning of qualifying. As we have the Twitch stream going, we have the TikTok stream going, and now we should have the Twitch stream going. Did I say Twitch stream before? I mean YouTube stream going as well. Hopefully not as many technical issues as we had last time out. That would not be ideal. But now we head into, what is that little yellow thing on the side of the stream? Not 100% sure. I believe it might be part of the overlay. So if I move that across, does that disappear? No. Okay. What is it? Just trying to get rid of it as we are heading into qualifying now. And, well, you can see the full 20-car grid that we have on our hands. And Race Imtiaz immediately retiring from the session. He will be chancing a go at starting from right at the very back and going to the front. That should see the little bar disappear now. And there we go. We are ready and raring to go here in the Ardennes Forest. Just trying to see if everything's set up and trying to see if we're ready to tackle the Ardennes Forest. I'm sure the drivers will have been excited for this one, the Belgian Grand Prix. A great race, all things considered, or a very historic circuit at the very least. And, well, you can see the drivers just going up now. What was Eau Rouge and Radion as now they head through into the second sector. Well, trying to see who's the most eager to get out. I believe it might have been one of the RBs. Yes, it is. Kian Godendorp, the first driver out on circuit. And he is followed closely by one of the Kick Saubers on the circuit. Just trying to see which one that is. It is Lucas Beisner. Good. First time lucky. He currently sits P16. Race Imtiaz and Angelo D'Ortenzio in 19th and 20th. And they will be starting from exactly those positions as we have 16 minutes left of qualifying and the runs are about to get underway.
Yeah, and we are currently on board with Lucas in the Sauber. It is looking very overcast, so could a lot of drivers be rushing to get out due to some potential rain about to unfold in the early stage of the qualifying. We have got 15 minutes 55 to go, but if it starts to rain, this could be like the end of a Q3 session when it has to be everything on the line. As we're watching the Sauber down towards Source turn 1. Very braking, flick the wheel right, a little bit of a lock up there, which is part of the part of the process of getting a good turn, and then down to Erouge, rising up the hill towards the top of Radigon, flat out, and it's possible to go wheel to wheel up there if your driver has some racing etiquette. Down the Kemmel straight towards the Lake Up chicane, where, if you remember, Hamilton and Alonso made contact on the opening lap of the 2022 Belgian Grand Prix through the Lake Comp chicane now, and then flick the wheel right and then power your way down to the long sweeping right. Lucas in the Sauber looking to challenge for pole this evening in Spa-Francorchamps. And towards Pouhon we go down the hill now. We were going uphill earlier in the lap. We're now going downhill, flat out through Pouhon. And now towards probably the hardest section on the track for me personally, the right and then the left of the track. And can the Sauber driver get their way up to original pole, as there is the V-carb in front, who is, I think, going to be setting the benchmark time. Down the back straight towards Blanchimont we go with the Sauber driver. Can he, will he set the fastest time? Will it be the V-carb in front of him, or will it be our reigning champion Luca Rapasso, or will it be the challengers from last week? Towards the bus stop chicane we go to kick Sauber driver, hitting a little bit of a moment and mid exit. There's Kean going to 40.5. Lucas crosses the line with a 40.9. There comes the Aston Martin of Liam Stevens going with a 40.6. And then up to the line comes the Williams of Brandu with a 41.3. And then next up is Marcel Viego with a 40.7 in the Silver Arrow. We're going to be watching Tim Tornemo in the Scuderia Ferrari. Down the long straight towards Blanchimont. And can the Ferrari challenge for pole position? Kean, who set the benchmark, that benchmark still being untouched at the minute. As through the final chicane comes Louis Welch in the Red Bull, as he will be pounding right to the line. But we're focusing on the Scuderia Ferrari car. Round the bus stop chicane, and up to the line comes Tim Tornemo in the Ferrari, powering his way. And it's only P12 with a 41.1.
Yeah, Tim Tornemo there into the 41s, just not able to break into the 40s just yet, but I'm sure that will come at the end of the session. Louis Welch starting a lap. Gabor Santos coming to the end of his not having the pace last time out in Brazil that he would have wanted to have, and he's going to come now up to the line. What sort of time is he able to get into? He's straight into the 40s, 40.8. So, well, that's where he would have wanted to sit, I think, early on. And, well, not the end of the world, as I have just brought it to a pause just quickly, but we will be going back. But that is the end of the first runs. Kian Godendorp taking that provisional pole position away, and well, not a bad start, all things considered, for him, and not a bad start, all things considered, as well for any of the drivers, really. I mean, 41's pretty solid stuff to get into. And Godendorp, at the moment, the man to beat. Liam Stevens going just 300ths and 300ths bang on behind. So, I mean, there's challenges here tonight. Gregory Prizaville in P5. That's one of the drivers that I'd expect to be challenging tonight, as Louis Welch. Is he continuing his push lap? No, he's not. He has invalidated, and he will not be improving on his time yet. All the first runs have come to an end now, and we are about half, or just over halfway through this session. And after this session, it will be the race. And at the moment, our front looks like this. RB, Aston Martin, Mercedes, Aston Martin. The top five being dominated by the same two teams. And to be fair, Tom Roberts only down in P9, so not too far off of his teammates, only about 4/10.
Yeah, it always seems to be that the Silver Arrows love to be up at the front together most of the time. You saw it in Bahrain 1-2 in qualifying for the Silver Arrows. You've seen it in Brazil. You had Luca Rapace up there, who won the race via in game, but then due to post-race pens, that was all, and all those shenanigans, it was given to, I've actually forgot who won last week in Brazil.
Godendorp, I believe.
There you go. Godendorp did who is actually on provisional pole as it speaks. Godendorp is the seemed challenger to Rapace's title defence in season 8, which I can only presume will be the final season on this game, and we have our first driver on an out lap for their second run of Brandu in the Williams, making his way down the Camel Straight on his out lap down towards Sedley Comp Chicane. Will Brandu be able to have a big jump up? Slowest of the lot of who have set times as of now. Louis Works in a Red Bull will be wanting to set a lap time as well. But I'll let you take away these lap times as we watch the Williams come to the left-hand down towards pit 1.
Yeah, Brandu will be the leader of the second runs, followed by a lot of the drivers. I mean, they've come out straight away for those second runs. Very interesting decision for them just to go and send it straight away once again. And well, we'll see where King Gondor and the light ends up. I mean, he's obviously the one to beat at the top. And I'm sure he will still be one of the drivers up the top by the end of the session. But I mean, every single driver is now on and out, including the two, including the final McLaren who came up that you're seeing in the pit lane. Those are Ray Cynthia and Angelo Tenzio. They'll be starting on the back row of Brandu's charge to the front. Hopefully for him, begins now as he takes a wide entry into the main straight. There will be DRS down here, but it's not a long enough straight to have an effect. And then the Williams heads down into turn number 1. Will be taking a heavy braking hit and then turning in as soon as he can, getting onto all of the curving that he possibly can. Now running down to some of the most iconic corners in racing in general. I think it's fair to say that is Eau Rouge and Radion headed up there. You just need to take a lot of curving up there as well. Then the second DRS zone, which the Williams has headed through. And then he will be coming to the end of it and down as he's just down on his time by 300 of a second now through the chicane. Trying to get through it very quickly. That is where it could get a little bit dicey as moves are made at the end of that straight. And then down the hell braking zone. It's just a bit like Austria turn number 4. Very difficult to just brake, turn and go downhill all at the same time. And Brandu doing pretty well so far. He's in the second sector at the moment, not improving in that first one. But I mean, at the moment he sits last of the lap times by quite a significant margin. A tenth and a half for the Williams, so a lot of time to find, and he's matched almost his time in that first sector. A little bit of flashing, so maybe he's pushed just over that, or maybe he's got a full tank left. And there we go, 2/10 improvement in that second sector, and well, Brandu. He's definitely finding that time there in the final sector now. As he wants to get into the 40s. Can he get into the 40s? We will see as he heads up to the line now. Where is he going to end up? Brandu up to the line. He's aiming for a 40. Can he pin it? He can't quite 41-1. King Gondor improving by 2/10 of a second as he comes up to the line, and it's a 40.4. Liam Stevens will look to be the closest challenger. He's improved in the first couple of sectors and hopes to do the same once again. And he will come up now to the line within a couple of corners' time. Where can the Aston Martin put himself as Sixten Linhart splits the two Mercedes in P4. Gregory Prizabille makes it a different Aston Martin on the front row, and Liam Stevens snatches it right back. A 1:40.512 is 900ths of a second behind. It's so close at the top of the grid, and we've got some new drivers setting their strongest lap times. Prizabille and Linhart finding their feet in this fight.
Yeah, the Aston Martins will definitely take that. Second and third provisionally on the grid with 6 minutes 34 on the clock, as Ben Marples, I think that was in the McLarens, got jumped up to P9, and I think the two Silver Arrows, Marcel Viega, I think has actually gone up to P3, splitting now the Aston Martins. And then Jonathan today is up to the line in the other McLaren, still down in P17, as he on his, I think, to believe X1 debut. After I think he might have just lost the X2 Championship lead due to missing a couple of rounds. But it's Ben Marples is set in P9, McLaren 9th and 17th, and there is Jonathan a 7 millisecond improvement, as you saw from the delta in the top right of the screen. as the Red Bulls might be on laps as one is approaching the bus stop chicane.
And Einat Tanasi invalidating on that lap and not being able to set an improved lap time despite improving minimally in that first sector. Tanasi is nowhere in comparison. Looking now at all the drivers coming back into the pits, and hopefully we will be getting going for one last push lap. 5 minutes 10 left on the clock, the longest lap on the calendar available for the drivers, and should be looking to get ahead of Keaton Godendorp. 1 minute 40.4 is the fastest lap of the session at the moment. Godendorp improving on his previous time by quite a significant margin, as everybody into the pits, and Laminen, Cavero, Beisner and Tim Tornimo straight back out of the pits. And with 4 minutes 30 left in the session, it's crunch time.
I'm hoping when I predicted Cavero to win, I'm hoping I haven't jinxed him, because as of recent, whoever I say is going to win normally seems to spin at turn 1 or DNF. So I've done in other leagues, I've said it quite a lot, and the man who I've said to win has had quite the torrid race week. So I'm hoping I have not done that for the Scuderies this weekend, as I say that they are currently sat 13th on the grid as it stands. And speaking of the Ferraris, they are coming up to the third sector, and Lucas has actually started his lap time for what I can only presume will be his final run, said in qualifying, down through a Rouge, up the hill towards the top of Rallion. And we go down through the Kemmel Straight. DRS activated for the Kicksauber drivers, making our way down towards the end of the Kemmel Straight. Will there be any time? You have a proper good sector one to find a lot of time. 34 millisecond improvement for Lucas in the Kicksauber, as you're now flicking our way through the first sequence of corners in sector 2 towards the long sweeping right hander. We go with Lucas, the minor lock up there. As you can see, that smoke still emerging from that front right brake as they're standing on the power now through the left downhill towards Pouon, flirting with the gravel there on the exit. Flat out now through Pouon. Look, you see the rear just wanting to throw itself, but these cars have got so much downforce, so much grip. The car will just delivers it, and now through this sequence of corners, it's a little bit like a flip flap, isn't it? You want to flip the wheel right and left, and towards the end of sector 2 we go. How much of an improvement will we see from the Sauber driver? A tenth and a half up at this current moment in time. That could jump up to around P6. He needs almighty sector 3 to challenge anywhere near the top 3. As we're making our way through Blanchimont towards the bus stop chicane, we go with the Sauber driver as he is powering his way to the bus stop chicane and soon to be up to the line. Lucas in the Sauber, where will he go on the grid with his final run and qualifying up to the line? P7 slots in 27 milliseconds behind his teammate Sixten Lindhart, and there's the Ferrari of Tintornamo now powering his way down towards the bus stop chicane. Can the Scuderia Ferrari challenge anywhere near the top 10 at the moment? Seems to be quite the torrid time in qualifying, as he is a tenth and a half up round at the final corner up to the line. Where can Tim Tornemo in the Ferrari go? 400th down on his time, and it will be P18 on the grid, and I have no idea what he's doing. Speaking of Saubers now, Sixten Lindhart we're watching now, making our way through the heart of sector 2 downhill towards Pouon corner. Can Sixten Lindhart do what his teammate was unable to do and challenge for pole position? Flat through Pouon now towards the flip-flap corner. And can Sixten Lindhart find any improvements? I didn't not see the delta time as the red light is flashing, and he did have a bit of a moment through flip-flap. Is he just backed out of the lap towards the end of sector 2? 96 milliseconds down, making our way down at the back straight towards Blanchimont. We go with the Sauber driver, and through Blanchimont we go now. Well, through Blanchimont now, and towards the bus stop chicane we go. The final sequence of corners upcoming for the Kicksauber driver. Can he challenge the top 5 as we're making our way through the bus stop chicane? He hasn't validated, and he will drift his way into the pit wall. And that will be Sixten Lindhart's qualifying done and dusted. But we're going to be watching Louis Welch now in the Red Bull down for down through Eruge up to the top of Rally on 6, and Lindart has retired. That will be P6 at best. Kian has retired. The man on provisional pole, 900th clear of Liam Stevens. Kian has got the gut to retire and has said to the rest, challenge me if you can. Through the Lake Comp chicane we go with Louis Welch, rear wanting to chuck itself away, but towards the sweeping right-hander we go with Louis Welch, flicking the car right, and now towards the left-hand corner we go, and we will now enter down the hill towards Puon. Someone had retired. I cannot remember who that was. There was Lucas, I believe, in the Sauber who had retired. Through Puon now. Towards Flip Flap we go with Louis Welch in the Red Bull. Can he challenge anywhere in the top 5, as well as his teammate Chris both in the Red Bull cars? Towards the end of Sector 2, we go with Louis Welch. Is there any improvement in the middle sector? Towards the end of the middle sector, 2/10 up on his best time at the moment. That could challenge around 5th if he can find time in the last sector. Could be challenging for pole position, if not at best on the front row, as he has got, I think, around probably just a 10th to make up at the bus stop chicane. He gone through Blanchard towards the chicane we go now with Louis Welch. As Liam Stevens in the Aston Martin has taken that challenge and has gone into pole position. Louis Welch up to the line. He will only go P6 in the Oracle Red Bull Racing car. And now we're going to watch Gregory Prisabille in the Aston Martin towards the bus stop chicane now, as Abdullah has only gone P14. What can Gregory in the Aston Martin do? Crosses the line and on to the front row. Aston Martin 1-2 at the moment. And now we're going to be watching Marcel Biega as making our way down the back straight. Actually, we're going to watch Luca Rapassa, our reigning champion, trying to dislodge the Aston Martin from a green party in qualifying in Spa-Francorchamps. Towards the bus stop chicane we go as the champion. And the man looking to take back his win after he lost it in Sao Paulo. Luca crosses the line, only 4th. What about his teammate Marcel Biega? Jumps ahead of Rapassa up to 4th. And now we have one driver left, Brandu, in the Williams. Up to the line we go with the Williams to go only P16. It's Aston Martin 1-2, unless Tim Tornemo, is he on another lap in the Ferrari? The only man left to take the flag. But as it stands at the moment, it is Aston Martin 1-2. Tim Tornemo's not improving. It's a green party in Spa. Liam Stevens is on pole position ahead of Gregory. Kian, who retired and said to the others, challenge me if you can. The Aston Martins took that to heart, and they have locked out the front row and knocked Kian down to the second row of the grid.
Yeah, Kian Godendorp, he's claimed that he was able to take that pole position. He decided that was the case, and he has been proven very, very wrong. Liam Stevens, Gregory Prisabille lining on the front row of the grid, and Tim Tornemo taking us to the end of that qualifying session. And next up is going to be race day, and we will see where all these drivers go. You can be good over 1 lap pace, but in terms of the actual race itself, we'll see where they end up. Liam Stevens taking that provisional, or taking the full pole position now, and look at all those drivers within a 10th. Gregory Prisabille, Kian Godendorp, Marcel Biega and Luca Rapassa within a 10th, with Ben Marples just outside. Then it's Thomas Lamina, Alexi Cavero, Louis Welch and Sixten Inhart rounding out the top 10, with Shontos, Beisner, Bidzinski and Roberts and Boulech as well rounding out the top 15. And then you've got Brando, Ironut Tanasi and Tim Tornemo, with Race Imtiaz and Angelo Diotenzio rounding out the field. And now race day is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and we await for the drivers. And look at that. It's going to be raining here in Belgium. It's going to be wet conditions, surely, as we'll go to the race director. Indeed, it is. It's going to be, well, I forgot we had a restart. Can we keep the same weather? Oh, well.
I think they should do that, you know?
I think we should.
Wet race would make it entertaining. Wet to dry, personally. Makes it interesting, the strategies.
That's ruined my moment, hasn't it? It could have been raining, but we now...
Top 10 moments before disaster.
Yeah, exactly. As well, this is the faux race start, not the real race start. Tim Tornemo's desperate to get these conditions continued. It was actually going to be wet to dry. It was going to be wet, and then about lap 8, it's going to be stormy. before about lap 14, it starts to ease off.
Oh, it's full wets.
And by about lap 16, it's supposed to be completely clear. But
Yes,
there we
please.
go. Fingers crossed for the next segment of the racing.
Well, I think Aston Martin will be quite happy to have that front row lockout, especially if it is raining, because they could do what you saw with like in F1 23 with Barry Borman and Nicholas Longuet in Zandvoort. I know it didn't work out for Nicholas Longuet due to it's like only this game bug when it did go to dries. Nicholas Longuet did pit 4 inters on the dry track again, which I can only guess was a game bug. But you saw Nicholas Longuet was in the lead, and you saw Barry Borman just backing up the pack. The gap got around to I think 4 seconds before Longuet did pit, and then there's a lot of there's a lot of possibilities for Aston Martin to do what the Ferrari team tried to do in Zandvoort in F1 23. But I'll be interested to see how the Aston Martins approach it. Will Gregory think I think I'm gonna have got the better race pace? I want to take the lead of this, or will Liam Stevens be thinking to his teammate, just let me lead and let's just work together? Whoever's in front, back the others up, and then we could have quite the easy win ahead of us here. But who do you reckon will take the victory at Spa-Francorchamps?
Well, I mean, we'll wait and see, but it's good to see the likes of Gregory Prizabel up there. I think he's got a decent opportunity, and with Aston Martin having a front row lockout, they can work together, break away, and then a race victory could be in line at the end of it. I think Aston Martin in the best position by a country mile as we are about to head into race day. But it's not all said and done because, for example, you think of it, you could have the likes of Keaton Godendorp coming back and going up to the lead because obviously he does seem to have some sort of pace. But I mean, your prediction, Alexi Cavero, he is down in P8 after qualifying, and with how close this grid is, it's going to be difficult to fight his way up. But I'm going to back Gregory Prizabel. I mean, why not? And I think the Veloce Academy man will have enough to get it over the line. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? As race day is just around the corner. And this gives us an opportunity to step back to have a look at the Belgian Grand Prix circuit. So I'll cut to it. There we go. The Belgian Grand Prix circuit around Spa-Francorchamps, just a touch over 7 miles. It's actually a regulation that it can't be over 7 miles, but an exception has been made for the purposes of Belgium. 19 corners, 2 DRS zones, 1 after Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and 1 down the main straights. Huge elevation changes, the biggest on the calendar between turn 4, which is Raidillon, and turn number 5, just up that hill. They'll be going flat out as hard as they can, racing surely as hard as they can as well. But what a circuit, what a race, and what a grid that we have lined up here tonight. All 20 drivers oozing quality, and therefore should be a good race.
Yeah, I hope my prediction's right, because I think everyone in chat and even Rowley could even agree with me. We want to see an Alexi Cavero win for the first time, as my first 2 races in X1 that I commentated. Rowley definitely wanted me to make sure I had mentioned Alexi Cavero's winless career so far.
Well, I mean, you never know. Think all could be changed tonight, but we'll have to wait and see. As well, I mean,
Rowley in chat agrees.
yeah, I don't think I don't think Alexi's too far off it, to be fair, because P8's not too far. Well, you say chat, it's Rowley, so that could be in response to anything you've just said. But yes, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there at least. I think the drivers up the top have more experience in terms of the race pace being up there with such quality grids. Obviously, Alexi Cavero is a quality driver, but you think of the likes of Keaton Godendorp, who he races alongside on a regular occurrence. You think about Luca Rapassa, who he races on a regular occurrence, and Angelo D'Ortenzio as well. PSGL F2 champion, by the way. and Alexei, F5 champion, but racing in F3 this year. So there are improvements, and that does mean that he certainly has that potential to be up there. Of course, if this is a track that he is a fan of, you never know.
Hey, don't disrespect Alexi. He's a season 5 driving champion. Don't disrespect him. He has got a championship to his name, like Luca Rapassa has.
Well, I mean, prove me wrong. Absolutely prove me wrong. So I'm completely willing to be proven wrong. Although the last time I said that to somebody, I said Will Lewis didn't have star quality. He said, "I'll look to prove you wrong this F1 Esports season," and then got dropped from the Williams team about 2 weeks later.
Oh,
So I'm hoping
people on the stream.
Alexi has a little bit of a better fate, but you never know.
Right, so one of two things happens. Alexi has a driver of the year, or he is spun around at turn 1. Because that is how predictions go with me. They either have a blinder, or I curse them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, sounds about right. To be fair, speaking of the season, we're going to run through now, and we are going to look at the drivers' standings. You won't be able to see it, but I will be reading it out to you. So, Luca Rapassa leads the Drivers' Championship with 45 points to his name, with Kian Godendorp in second place on 31. And Godendorp in a better position to take advantage of that as they head into race day. Those top two, a huge gap to the cars behind, with Rapassa over double the points of third place to Pius Koiven, not racing tonight. Liam Stevens is in fourth with 20, joint with Louis Welch. And then Nelson Alves sits in P6. I believe he is not racing tonight either. So it's an opportunity for those further down to just fight their way all the way up to the top. Thomas Laminen in seventh. Gregory Prizabil racing for the first time in Sao Paulo. And he has an opportunity to leap up from P8 to the peak of the standings. Then it's Angelo D'Ortenzio in P9 and Tim Tornimo in P10. With joints with Ben Marples in P11. Everybody else almost has a clean slate as they are all under double figure points. So plenty of opportunities. The championship is open at this point in the season, and they just need to take their opportunities when they have them.
Also, don't forget about the constructors as well. We have a constructors championship on the line here as well. Mercedes currently lead that with 104 points. Behind them, Williams with 93 points, and then behind Williams in third we have Red Bull with 82 points. Then come McLaren with 65 points. 3 points split McLaren, Aston, and Alpine. Aston Martin fifth with 64 points, so only a point behind McLaren. Then Alpine on 62 points. 3 points behind McLaren, 2 points behind the Aston Martins, who actually have a front. Aston Martin do have a front row lockout, so they could look to mount a challenge with the Silver Arrows lead fourth and fifth on the grid. So they will definitely be looking to at least protect their lead and make sure that their main rivals do not outscore them. We then have Ferrari on 51 points. Behind them, we have Haas on 43 points. Then we have V-Carb on 30 points, then alone down in P10, like it is in real life. Kick Sauber with only 29 points, but they're a bit more successful in the F1 games compared to real life.
Well, I mean, if we're comparing this to real life, Red Bull being P9, that sounds like a great foreshadowing for the season. I'm hoping that it's a bit like that. I'm not biased at all in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, Red Bull P9 sounds good to me, but that could
Red Bull
be
P3, V-Carb's P9.
No. Hang on. Am I looking at the wrong stand?
Yeah.
No, I'm. No, Red Bull's P9. V-Carb's P5.
Oh fuck! Hang on, I've read the wrong stand.
We...
I was reading X3.
I'm,
okay, right.
I'm glad you didn't read out the X3, all of the X3 standings, because we could have been there for quite a while trying to work out why.
Well, I would have said my name in X3.
Exactly, trying to work out why yours truly was in that championship. It's raining. It's raining. Yes, we have actually got that race. Oh.
Okay, right, I'll quickly run you through the X1 constructors. Mercedes lead with 51 points. Williams in second. So the top two are the same. Williams in second with 49. Alpine in third with 35. Aston in fourth with 33. V-Carb in fifth with 31. McLaren sixth with 29. Ferrari seventh with 17. Haas in 8th with 15. Red Bull in 9th, as you mentioned, with 13. And then Sauber's still last. So
Oh, we should do an overall constructors championship. Sauber would
be
get
lovely.
absolutely shafted.
And while you do the race start, I'm going to be writing down the point scoring. Then I'm going to do the maths after the race.
Sounds like a plan to me. So yes, race will start very soon. And according to the drivers, it's starting now. But that's because they've screenshotted the green flag and they've decided that now is the time that we will be going to the 5 lights. But it is not just yet. I mean, we've got our predictions in. Now get your predictions into the chat. Who is going to take this victory here today? We've had a couple of Caveros. I've gone for Prisabil. And it's all set to be unveiled. We've got 22 laps of the Belgian Grand Prix lying ahead of us. And we cannot wait to get round 3 of this season underway here in Belgium. As just to run you through the point system, by the way, we've just run you through the points. We'll run you through the point system. 25 for first, as per. 20th for second, then 16th. 16, 13, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So down to P15, the points go. So it just opens it up. There's more opportunity for points. Even if you continue on racing right at the rear of the field, there is still an opportunity for you to pick up that P15 and to pick up that 1 point. And we know points are so crucial in this championship. Just watch the last round of last season if you want a demonstration of that. We're going to go to the 5 red lights. It's the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's action here in Spa. Liam Stevens off to a very good start. Everyone off tentatively, but Stevens comparatively off very well. Prisabil trying to look for the outside line on his teammate. Godendorp pulling alongside Prisabil though. And they will be side by side as we head up to Eau Rouge and Radion. Are they going to chance it on lap 1? No, they're not. Prisabil tucks in behind Godendorp. Laminen does, and he gets past Ben Marples as we head up the hill. It is side by side between a lot of the drivers in the lower points. Welch and Linhart, for example. Linhart getting through and Shontos getting through as well. Looking further up, it's the 2 Mercedes side by side into the chicane. Who's going to come out on top? It looks to be Rapassa. Marples runs off the circuit. And, well, I mean, he's coming under pressure now from Alexi Cavero as they head down the hill. Is Alexi going to go for the move for P7? He is indeed. Tell you who's gone for a move for the lead. Kian Godendorp. Godendorp is in the lead of this race now. And Liam Stevens drops behind. And it's an Aston Martin 2-3 from a 1-2 on the grid. And Godendorp will be happy with that. He'll look to control the pace now here in the wet in Belgium. Looking further back, there can be fights. There are fights between a Kick Sauber. It's not that Kick Sauber, it's this Kick Sauber. Gabo Shontos getting past Sixten Linhart, and his pace is much more promising than last week. Stevens and Prisabil fighting away. Stevens coming out on top in that one. But a hectic first lap. Godendorp leads.
So, Kian said it in qualifying, challenge me if you can. The Aston Martin said that. Now Kian has said challenge me in the race if you can. From third on the grid, in the wet especially, very impressive from Kian Godendorp in the V-car. From third on the grid, he's turned it into the lead of the race, and the Aston Martins was squabbling as well. According to that strategy screen, drivers are on the intermediates in a full wet track condition. Due to these conditions, they are allowed to opt for the different tyre combos. There's one singular driver has opted for the full wet tyres. Abdullah Bolite, I probably butchered that, but Abdullah in the Haas is the only car who has opted for the wets. As Tom Roberts in the V car is round and off in the bus stop chicane, and now he's going to have a lot of work to do if he is to make his way back into the attacking position for this Grand Prix. But down towards the bottom of the hill, as Lucas is ahead of Raiz, as they now make their way down towards the bottom of Rouge, up now towards the top of Radion. There's a bit of gap between Lucas and Tim, as down towards the Lake of Chicane. Gregory's gaining on Liam, but Liam's gaining on Kian. Running outside the Lake of Chicane. Can Liam take the lead in the race? Wheel to wheel through Lake of Chicane. Kian holds it on the outside, swings to the inside, but the top two are still wheel to wheel. And now Gregory could be thinking of a move towards the inside. The Aston Martin and Liam still trying to attack. Now Gregory's attacking his teammate on the inside of the sweeping right towards the flick at the left. But Gregory is going to think better to back out of it. Liam Stevens stays tucked up behind Gian. And now on the run down towards Pouon, Gregory got a lot of overspeed there on the exit of, I think that's No Name. And through Pouon we go in the full wet conditions. Kian has defended the first attack from the Aston Martins. The Aston Martins looking maybe to duel now in towards the flip-flap corners as Gregory is eager to get in front of his teammate. And towards the end of Sector 2 we go. Kian is in the lead, and that's Alexi Cavero and Ben Marple squabbling through flip-flap now as Alexi has fended off the McLaren driver. You saw the timing page. They had swapped around for a slight moment. And Marcel Biega looking very close to his teammate now, down towards Blanchimont. We go with the two silver arrows. Though it is a V-Cub who leads. Then come two Aston Martins and two Mercedes. Then the Williams or Thomas. And maybe Luca Rapassa looking around the outside of Gregory Brizabel. And the two Mercedes have a little bit of contact there. Now offline goes Gregory. Maybe on the switch but down the inside goes the Williams. Standing on the power on the exit of the bus stop. Wheel to wheel down towards La Source turn 1. Is the Williams going to opt to hold it on the outside? No, he's not. He's going to think better for the later stages of this race. As Ben Marple's maybe making a challenge on Lexi Cavero down the inside at turn 1. And now on the exit down towards the bottom of the hill, Alexi is going to be using battery to try and keep alongside the McLaren. But due to the slipstream that Ben Marples has got, he is able to keep ahead and complete the overtake on Alexi Cavero. Alexi back down to where he started. He's got all out of shape out at the top of Radion. And Luca Rapassa dueling with Gregory now for the podium places. And Alexi's now just behind Gabor. And Thomas and Marcel are dueling away. As well as Marcel Biega and Ben Marples through the late comp chicane. Can Marcel Biega keep ahead of Ben Marples in the McLaren? Yes, he does. And there is action aplenty here on lap 3 of 22 at Spa-Francorchamps.
There is indeed. That's Gabor Shontos down the inside and able to make that move on Cavero. Cavero fighting it back, though. Now taking that inside line. Can he get the run off of the exit? Yes, he indeed can. And Alexi Cavero taking that P8 quite solidly in the end, shutting the door on Gabor Shontos and taking that P8 assertively. But absolute carnage early on in this race. They were not expecting the wet conditions. And so, well, we've got fights on our hands. Abdullah Balash not fighting forward with those wets at the moment, but not losing time. He's actually gaining time on Chris Bydzinski as they head through Sector 2, and it could be a move very soon on the Red Bull. You can see, though, he's very, very, very tetchy on the grip. Here's Abdullah Balash, and this pace, this race is just going to spice up for the Haas driver. He's going to try maybe to shape up a move onto Bydzinski into the final corner. He is going to look, but maybe trying to force a mistake more than anything else. There is contact up ahead as that's Bydzinski and Linhart side by side. Bydzinski holding that inside. Contact between the two as they're struggling for grip on exit in the wet. And Linhart in the end coming out on top out of the two. Can Bydzinski hold away on the outside line? No, he can't. But the wet tyres prevailing for Abdullah Balash as Bydzinski just rolling offline and falling away. There is now gaps starting to form. 1.1 between Marples and Biega. 1.0 between Biega and Laminen. So 6th and 7th are now very isolated positions in terms of what you can see in front of you comparative to the rest of this field. Alexi Cavero right on the rear of Ben Marples now. And, well, he's looking to try to bridge that gap between the drivers ahead. Another gap that's forming. Godendorp ahead of Stevens. It is 1.1 seconds between the RB and the Aston Martin. And Luca Rapassa, he's looking to change that. The Mercedes has had the pace over the field, I think it's fair to say, so far. And he looks to maybe get past Stevens, maybe challenge Godendorp within the next few laps.
So we've had rain in Brazil, in South America, and now in Europe. And we've also got the, I think you could say, traditional English weather in Belgium with absolutely chucking it down. But as we're actually entering spring in the UK now, so we're actually getting a bit of sun, but in Belgium it is absolutely torrential. As you see, Liam Stevens struggling on the power. And now into Sector 3 we go. Liam Stevens being hunted by our championship leader and to also add reigning champion, as I think I have stated quite a lot. And towards Blanchimont we go with Rapassa in the slipstream, but Gregory seems closer to Rapassa, then Rapassa seems to Stevens. Through Blanchimont we go now. Rapassa is just going to have to stay tucked up behind, maybe make a little bit of a look to the inside to see if he can force Stevens into a mistake. But through the bus stop chicane we go, a bit deep from Stevens. That could give Rapassa the slight better run on the exit as Raiz and Tim towards the bus stop chicane and were dueling away. You can see that gap, only 700 as we enter the bus stop chicane. Tim now has to back out of that one as we're still on board with Rapassa through La Source and towards Air Rouge and Rally on we go with Rapassa. Just staying tucked up in the slipstream and maybe could see a slight challenge down towards the Lake Cop chicane. I see a little bit of a wider line there taken by Stevens throughout the mid corner of the hill, as I predicted, down, gaining in the slipstream. Rapassa pulls out to the inside, and Aston Martin from the front row lockout down to third and fourth, and it is now Rapassa hunting down Kian like it had been in Sao Paulo, as Ben Marples and Alexi Cavero swapping once more, as are Abdullah and Chris in the lower 10 positions, as Abdullah maybe on those wet tyres beginning to fade a bit more. You can see that racing line starting to come a bit less wet compared to it being how it was on the race start. Through No Name towards Puon corner we go now. Normally flat in the racing, but in the wet, in the traditional English weather, that will not make it wet. It could actually throw you offline. You saw Ben Marples almost drifting, almost sliding off the track. Famous words from 2021, watching a McLaren in the rain, as Abdullah gets back at Chris, and now Angelo Diotenzo, maybe running outside, a flap will switch to the inside, but on that wetter part of the racetrack, Angelo cannot have the grip to fight Chris round the outside, and towards the end of Sector 3 we go. Rapassa is now 2.2 behind race lead Kian Gondop, seeming to have the superior race pace in the wet weather.
Yeah, Gundorp at the moment just looking king as Race MTAs around the outside of Angelo Dortenzio. These two who started on the back row of the grid now fighting their way towards the front, and they are fighting with each other for 13th and 14th at the moment. Imtiaz looking quicker than Dortenzio and Budzinski ahead of him, so it should only be a matter of time. But yeah, Godendorp looking king. Speaking of king, King of Leagues is partnered with ExA, and I mean, we are dominating that championship at the moment. It's a league with, it's a league of leagues. And at the moment, we are right up at the very top after domination in Brazil. Slightly less domination in Brazil for these drivers in this race. But now we're into Belgium, and we should be seeing them a little bit closer. There's more overtaking opportunities in Brazil, as Abdullah Balesh makes me look a bit silly and goes around the outside of Sixten Linhart nice and easily. Linhart's trying to hold a tyre in, but unable to, and now moves down to P11. But there we go. Yeah, I mean, I said there was less overtaking spots, and they've proven me very wrong. But especially in the wet, it has to be a gamble, because there are so many wet spots that you just seem to find so easily. You can see that dry line is very, very well defined in the centre of the track. And, well, that's why these drivers aren't going for those overtakes at the moment. They're hoping that the weather does clear up, as this is going to be switching back to the battle for the lead. Gregory Prisabil the lead of this pack. Gregory Prisabil trying to fight with Liam Stevens. Two teammates, no love lost between the two. And at the moment, he sits in P number 4. We've got 5 drivers very close together. Rapassa, Stevens, Prisabil, Laminen, and Biega, who now actually drops 1.1 seconds, so out of what would be DRS range in the dry. And Alexi Cavero is looking maybe to take that P6 and to climb up further from the grid. He started from P8, and slight little slide there from Cavero. You cannot take those curbs yet. Maybe in the next few laps, but not at the moment. We've got 14 laps left in this Grand Prix. Lamina makes his way up to P4. Prisabil gets, there's contact between the two. Prisabil, I think, just going for the move back on the exit, and that's cost Thomas Laminen time. That drops 2 of the drivers out of contention, and Laminen trying to reclaim himself. He drops now down to P number 15, and Gregory Prisabil are now down to P6. But contact between the two, and that could be a battle that is decided in the stewards' room.
The Alexi Cavero win is on. He's in the top 5. My prediction could come right. As I think he is actually maybe wheel-to-wheel with Marcel Biega down the Kemmel straight towards the Lake chicane. As I get more hyped, Alexi Cavero is almost up in the 4th. down towards the lake of chicane. Round the outside, Alexi will try to hang a Ferrari. Ferrari Mercedes joining out in Belgium. We've seen that before. As on the inside, Marcel Biega is able to fend off the Ferrari. But down towards the sweeping right, maybe around the outside, can Alexi try? No, he can't. As the Ferrari will now maybe think of seeing it starts on the podium due to that contact between the Aston Martin and the Williams drivers in the gravel. Went Marcel Biega, and towards the inside of Pouon, down the inside goes Alexi, and up into 4th place, and will now be setting his sights, oh no, on the podium as he gets a 3 seconds penalty for track limits, no.
Alexi Cavero, 3-second time penalty, and with how close this grid is, that costs him for the rest of the race. That and the battling between the two, that means that they now have another 3 seconds to gain to Godendorp, Rapassa and Stevens. Well, another 2.7 seconds to Godendorp as Ben Marples becomes the second, and I don't think it can be the last. But, well, this is a slightly crazy race as Marples drops behind Gabor Shontos into P number 8. And, well, not what he would have wanted, especially because he picked up that penalty on that last lap. Godendorp taking the fastest lap. The track, I believe, is getting drier, and you'll see Abdullah Balash's progress stunted a little bit as he tries to fight his way up. He's peaked in P10. I think that is where he's going to peak for the rest of the races. Now, he's going to try to come in over the next few laps, come in for maybe the inters or maybe stretch to the dry compound of tyre as, well, they head up the hill now. They head up to Eau Rouge and Radion. And Ben Marples will be ruining that 3-second time penalty. Cavero losing more time to the top 3. It's now climbed to 4 seconds. And Marcel Biega just rubbing salt in the wound and making his way through to P5 as Gregory Prizabille actually takes that P5 away from Cavero. And, well, P5 is now the Aston Martins as he tries to fight up and recover what scraps that he can get from this race. And at the moment, the progress is beginning once again. The momentum is coming through once again as D'Ortenzio gets past Boulèche. And I think that might be it for the Haas in terms of the pace advantage that he had. And now P11 is where he sits as that is Angelo D'Ortenzio just going offline. So might be that it is getting much, much drier here in Spa.
Yeah, going offline just to help to maybe try and cool those inters down. As you see, the racing line not producing a lot of spray compared to normally is. There's yellow flag to Gregory Prizabille off. Was it a Gregory who had lost places? He was around, I think, P6, P5, but he's dropped down to P9, and Aston Martin having more woes in Belgium. As I think that was actually Gregory who was falling down the order. Correct me if I was wrong, but he has dropped down to 9th, 1.1 off the top 8 now, and that is not what the Aston Martin would have wanted. Starting on the front row, Aston Martin from a 1-2 down to 3rd and 9th. And they are not going to be doing their constructor challenge any good as Lucas and Thomas going wheel to wheel towards Blanchimont. And Lucas is ahead of the Williams as a bit deep goes Gregory. Wheel to wheel with Angelo D'Ortenzio drifting. Goes the Aston Martin down to 10th now as Abdullah Boylach is into the pit lane. And now standing on the power towards La Source. Gregory is fighting his back with Angelo. On the inside, Gregory goes. He continues on as Thomas has retired from this race in the pits. And is out of this race, as has Louis Welch. That is 2 retirements within the space of 10 seconds. But up through the hill, up to the top of Radion, Gregory and Angelo will be dueling away. But here comes Angelo D'Ortenzio. He's wheel to wheel with the Aston Martin down towards the lake of chicane. Is miles ahead of the Aston Martin into the braking zone. And up in the 9th goes Angelo D'Ortenzio. And that gap out in front is gone up since I last checked by 6/10. As there is yellow flags in the first sector for Louis Welch and Thomas's retired car. As on touching the grass a bit, Angelo D'Ortenzio. That's Gregory through. No name, we going down the hill towards Pouon. We're thinking I might want to try and re-overtake it here. But it could be also due to these mistakes from Gregory. This could be due to a increase in tyre wear, potentially for the Aston Martin. As you can see, him just trying to correct the car mid-corner in Pouon, and I think all the drivers are actually doing that, to be fair. But Keane Gundor will be so happy that he has got this outstanding pace, race pace, to be fair, in the rain, as he's got the gap up to 3.5. Maybe the Rapassa now struggling with the rear tyres as we enter Sector 3 with our drivers in 9th and 10th.
Yeah, 9th and 10th for these two at the moment. as last lap, Abdullah Balash did finally bite the bullet and came into the pits. Alexi Cavero up into P number 4 as Marcel Biega trying to fight it back. King Godendup goes a second quicker with a 54.7. But it is time now. It's pretty much crossover time. As you can see, it's getting drier and drier and drier and drier and drier. And you'd think that it's going to get just that little bit better as we head through now. Tom Roberts and Arnott Tanasi are having a mega battle for P16, by the way. It's one of the 3 non-points positions that we have left on this field. And Tom Roberts at the moment sits in P16. Brando just ahead in P15. And Abdullah Balash bearing down on them. He has a ridiculous pace advantage as he's gained 2 tenths in that corner alone. And it wasn't even that good of a corner. I think it's fair to say. Biega and Cavero swapping once again for P4 and P5, and Gabo Shontos now invites himself into this battle. So do Linhart and Marples in 7th and 8th. They'll look to take 4th and 5th at some point soon as they're all sliding. I think it's less, though, sliding because of the conditions. I think more now it's due to that tyre wear, and at the moment the top 3 appear to have better tyre wear than the rest of the field. Evidence, Marcel Biega dropping a second on that last lap. I know there was a bit of fighting between the two, but there was not a second's worth. And Liam Stevens now has an even bigger margin between 3rd and 4th. Gabo Shontos in 6th place. He's very close to the back of Alexi Cavero. We've seen him go for moves before this race, and we could see him go for more as well. Linhart isn't one as well to be afraid to get his elbows out. And the kick Sauber is currently sitting in P7 with Ben Marples, who has a 3-second time penalty behind, who will be desperate to get through. Marples and Cavero in the same situation as we head almost onto the halfway mark of this Grand Prix. We've seen one driver come into the pits. Well, we've seen one driver come into the pits and then come out the other side. That is as we've had a disconnect, I believe. It might have been just me, but I am no longer in the session. And I knew there was going to be technical hitches tonight. I'm hoping that this hitch isn't too big, as it looks as though it's just me. So I'll try to get us back into the race. Very, very sorry about that technical issue. I knew something was going to go wrong tonight, and it happens to be that. So unfortunate to have these sorts of technical hitches. Of course, we'd like to bring you a full, unbothered race, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get back in at some point soon. At the moment, we are having technical hitches, so I'll send you back to the stream starting soon screen, and hopefully we will be getting the action right back to you when we can. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and we're getting back into the lobby, and we will load to see what is happening in this race and what is happening with the action. And it is, well, I mean, I'd say it's pretty similar. Luca Rapassa P2, but he's closing in now on Kian Godendorp in that first place. A huge gap between third and fourth. It's ever increasing, 7.2 seconds between Stevens and Biega. And now the main battles are for the lower echelons of the points. But we're now on lap 13. We've missed two and a couple of corners laps of racing. So apologies for that. But we are back, and we're back with a bang. Cavero going for a move on Biega. Can he get around the outside? Biega getting very, very strong on the exit. Can he hold on? Yes, he can, with a purple first sector to boot. Cavero looking around the outside, though, trying to fight further, but unable to. And Biega holds on to that P4.
You can see the track's getting a lot drier now. The outside line's a lot wet now, and the drivers will be having a slight overheating of those, safe to say, very worn intermediates there. By now, they would have pitted for a second set of inters, but they are just going to try and hang it out towards the dries as Angelo Di Lorenzo picks up a 3-second penalty for track limits. He is our 7th driver of the evening who has picked up a time penalty for track limits. Round the final corner of Sector 2, into Sector 3 we go. Wide the line taken by Marcel Biega, didn't get a better run. You can see Alexi Cavero having a little bit of amount of a drift out of the first corner of Sector 3, down towards Blanchimont. On board with the Scooter with Ferrari. That gap out in front, 3.8, increasing all the time. Raiz and Sixten Lindhart dueling away. King Gondop is a 152.283, substantially quicker than the rest of the field, but except I can only think Abdullah Bolaich will be the fastest driver on track due to the difference in tyre age and tyre wear. Down towards La Source in turn 1, Alexi Guerrero still stuck behind that Ineos Mercedes front wing, as Gabor maybe thinking, I want to get ahead of Alexi Cavero here. Through Rouge down to the top of Radion we go as Alexi Cavero. A little bit of a correction mid-corner. ERS is being deployed by the Alpine. Gaining in the slipstream. Are we going to see a free wide moment? Yes, we are. Through the middle, threading the needle. Gabor up into 4th place as Marcel Biega and Alexi Cavero can continue to scrap through the late comp chicane. And Marcel Biega down to Gabor up 2, and up into 4th place goes Gabor with the fastest first sector, and he will be now wanting to just pull away from that little battle between Alexi and Marcel, as Liam Stevens is ahead of Luca Rapassa into Pouon. Liam Stevens in the Aston Martin from pole is now up into P2 again after falling into 3rd, and that gap, Luca Rapassa must have made a second, the gap's now increased by another second, 4.6 out in front. And I think it's safe to say, if there's no safety cars or anything, we have our winner already confirmed in the halfway point of this X1 Belgian Grand Prix. As into Sector 3 we go, down towards not La Source, in towards Blanchimont we go, was Liam Stevens, our pole sitter, who did get that extra point for pole position. Through Blanchimont we go towards the bus stop chicane. Liam Stevens has improved his race position back up to 2nd, and has got one more to go if he is to get back to where he started.
Yeah, but 4.4 seconds is a huge margin to try to gain and try to get on top of, as this is the battle for P9. Further back, Race Imtiaz all the way down to Ben Marples, 9th to 13th. Are scrapping away. There are quite a few penalties now applied that have come through in the last few laps, and that is 3 for Cavero. We saw that already. 3 for Dortenzio, 3 for Tornimo, 3 for Chris Bydzinski, 6 for Marples, 3 for Beisner, and 3 for Brando as well. That is quite a chunk of penalties for these sorts of drivers, so they won't be necessarily used to these sorts of racing conditions where they don't necessarily need to take that position. For example, Biega could just sit behind Alexi Cavero for the whole race. That's P5 sealed, as Luca Rapassa, he looked to be fighting Stevens at the end of the straights, but just tucked back in behind. Not his fight just yet, as now 5.5 seconds between Stevens and Godendorp. Godendorp has found another gear. He's found 9th gear. As we head around onto lap 15, they're still struggling on the same set of tyres. And welcome Abdullah Balash to the battle. He is now within half a second of Iron Out Tenacy, and he's going to try to fight his way through the field. Tenacy, his first target, Brando, his second, and a line like that won't necessarily help. I think that may have been a lag spike, but a line like that certainly wouldn't help Balaish with Tenacy and Brando first on his hit list.
I'm just trying to debate. Has Kian prioritised the wet conditions, knowing it's going to be a long period of wet? Had he opted for that inters and wet setup to then just give him that another gear in the race and just help pull away in the wet stint, and then in the dry stint, maybe Liam and Rapasso will be faster. As we're watching Alexi Cavero, Danny inside maybe of the bus stop chicane as Angelo D'Ortenzo try and run outside in the final corner, stand on the power on the exit of bus stop. Towards the source we go. Ortenzio is on the inside of Cavero. Down the inside goes Ortenzo as there's a massive drift from the Scuderia Ferrari as Principal on the exit of the source. Maybe thinking of a challenge towards Air Rouge, but maybe Cavero thinking of a challenge towards Air Rouge. Towards the top of Radion we go with this 5-car scrap for 4th. And now down the Kemmel straight after Radion towards the Lecombe chicane. Alexi's going to have the slipstream, but on that timing page, it is Angelo D'Ortenzo looking to make a move. Marcel Biega, yellow flags at the back for Ben Marple, who is off in the background. Alexi Cavero, and we have got that safety car, which I was mentioning earlier. No front wing on that McLaren car, and we have got a safety car at Spa-Francorchamps. And if I'm not wrong, is it stopped raining? Because I cannot see any raindrops at this current state of time.
Oh.
And I believe it has.
Why have I disconnected again? I don't know what's going on.
At least it's a safety car.
At least it is a safety car. Technical hitches again, ladies and gents.
You've got Mackie's Wi-Fi. Got Mackie's Wi-Fi.
Something along those lines. Well, right. This time I will try to send both of the broadcasts to an intermission screen before we get going again, and hopefully we get back in before the safety car. Don't go away.
coming in as we rejoined.
Yeah, ladies and gents, welcome back. Apologies once again for the technical issues that we have tonight. But it's perfect timing. It's a race. It's a lobby It's not a lobby restart. It's a race restart. The safety cars come in, and Godendorp leads us away in bright blue skies here around Spa-Francorchamps. Don't get it wrong, and don't get it twisted. This is ridiculous in comparison to the last few laps. But Godendorp leads us away. They're all staying line astern on lap 19. We've got 3 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. We were all on softs. It's a shootout.
Yeah, up to the top of Radion, as Marcel Biego does pick up a 3-second time penalty down towards the Lake of Chicane. You can see Liam Stevens is gaining in that slipstream. Will not be close enough to make a challenge into the Lake of Chicane, but you can see the top 5 practically nose to tail as we enter Sector 2. Kian has been leading this race ever since he jumped the Aston Martins on, I believe it's lap number 1 and lap number 2, where he did get ahead of Liam Stevens. But into No Name, we're going down the hill towards Pouon. Kian Godendorp will be looking to seal out a masterclass of a drive in Spa-Francorchamps. As through Pouon we go. Kian leads from Liam Stevens and Luca Rapassa, the champion, down in 3rd. And he'll be wanting to get back to where he is so used to being, up in the front in the lead of a X1 race rostrum. And just wanting to be leading out front. Enter Sector 3 we go as our top 5. And basically the whole field with each other. I don't think Abdullah would have been happy with that safety car, because now he is down in P18. Through Blanchimont we go with the top 5. Then there's the DRS has been gapped, and they are 4 abreast into the bus stop chicane. 4 abreast on the braking. Running outside on the inside goes Rapassa. Running outside goes Stevens. Now Rapassa standing on the power on the exit of the bus stop chicane. 4 abreast. That was a mental moment. Get Kian Godendorp down to 4th, challenging, dueling for 5th. Down the inside goes Gabor. Into La Source. Wide goes Rapassa. Now on the exit. Into the DRS Chicken Games. As we enter Air Rouge and Radion, and that has allowed Raiz and Alexi to close right back up, and up to the top of Radion, down the Camel Straight we go. Lovely helicopter cam as we're powering our way on lap number 20 or 22. Gabor defending now from Liam Stevens into the Lake chicane. 3 abreast again on the inside. Gabor leads the race. Can Luca Rapassa fight back? No, he can't. Can now Angelo D'Ortenzo fight against the champion? Kian Godendorp is down into 5th, fighting for 6th.
Yeah, Godendorp fighting for 6th. But Liam Stevens, 3 seconds worth of penalties going his way, so that could be costly for the Aston Martin's race. We've got Godendorp fighting for 6th. He's come out on top ahead of Imtiaz. But Imtiaz will try to fight back. He's not close enough. And he will actually get fought by Cavero on the exit. They're still scrapping away as this is absolute carnage towards the end of this Grand Prix. Big lockup for someone. Who was that? Not sure. Nobody's lost positions. Rapassa right on the rear of Liam Stevens, though. So I think it might have been the Aston Martin. They are going to go side by side into the final couple of corners. Who's going to come out on top? Rapassa versus Stevens. It's going to be Luca Rapassa. He moves into P2. D'Ortenzio trying to go around the outside. This could be an Alpine 1-2. Angelo D'Ortenzio around the outside as Stevens into the penultimate corner. Turns into the final corner. And he is now in that 3rd place, bearing down on Rapassa. 6/10 separate the man with no pace last race, Gabor Xantos, and Luca Rapassa. He could come from an absolute shocker of a weekend in Brazil to an absolutely ridiculous race here in Belgium. And it could be a race victory for Gabor Xantos, but it's not over yet. Rapassa will get 3 more full DRS zones. So will D'Ortenzio, and he's going to try to use them to full effect, shaping up a move to the inside. Don't know what that was. Shaping up a move to the inside and tucking back in. The action is continuing here right up to the final lap of this race, and D'Ortenzio, who started last, is now in P2. He goes down the inside of Rapassa, and it's now an Alpine 1-2.
That is perfect for the French outfit Angelo Di Attenzo, he's got a penalty, he's not going to score on a podium, but he can maybe start to back up the lot and then help Gabor keep this lead. And the French outfit are 1 and 2 in Belgium as we go through the flip-flap corners and towards the final corner of Sector 2. Rapassa's going to need to have a miracle performance to get ahead of both Alpines. Luckily for him, one of them has a penalty, one doesn't, so his main focus will be Gabor. But due to Angelo Di Attenzo in the middle of the pair of them, you can see starting to back him up slightly. Liam Stevens will maybe be thinking wanting to get involved as through Blanchimont we go. Rapassa maybe might be thinking of a challenge round the outside of the bus stop chicane. Early break-in for Rapassa as Angelo Di Attenzo parking the bus at the bus stop chicane, and we're going round for lap 22 of 22. And towards La Source we go with our leading contenders. Kian Gondop in 5th, who is leading for basically 90% of this race. And for the final time in this race, down for Eau Rouge up to the top of Radion. Look how close Rapassa is to Di Attenzo. But the question is, can he challenge Gabor Santos? Down not in the slipstream Rapassa is, but towards the Lake Combe chicane. Rapassa's gaining. He's not close enough to the Alpine on the inside of the Lake Combe chicane. One Alpine down, one to go for the race win. Our champion is challenging once again out in front. And Rapassa will be now saving his battery for as long as he can to make a challenge towards the bus stop chicane. There is no DRS left to win this race except when you power into the line, which is only DRS for a couple seconds. But through Pouhon we go in the heart of Sector 2. Luca Rapassa will be wanting to make sure he's got the battery, and he will definitely get the slipstream to power his way in the slipstream, and most likely for his sake, alongside as the world champion, the reigning champion, championship leader. Rapassa has got that crown and everyone wants it. And now for the final time in 22 laps, we go into Sector 3. He's in the slipstream towards Blanchimont. He's going down the inside, and Rapassa is almost into the lead. Oh, we're going to have a free wide moment. Down the outside goes Rapassa, and into the lead. And out of the bus stop chicane will emerge victorious unless Gabor has got it back. And across the line, it's Gabor who wins out. Rapassa in second, Kian third, Raiz in fourth, Angelo Di Attenzo fifth. Alpine have got victory in Spa-Francorchamps. And the final corner, there is an Aston Martin round, but it's Gabor who has taken the crown in Spa-Francorchamps as a miraculous overtake in the final corner of the racetrack, and our champion has to settle for second place in the race.
Oh my god. I mean, I'm out of breath, and you took us through the entire final lap, and I think that just sums it up. That was absolute chaos on that final lap, and in the end, it was Gabor Santos who took that race victory today, and it was so deserving. He's wanted such a good result, and today he comes out in P number 1, and again, fully deserved for the Alpine. And now I'm just gonna try and pull this one up straight away. I've got it set up on the YouTube. I'll get it up for Twitch. We've got so many viewers coming in and watching tonight. Thank you so much for all the consistent support over all the rounds that we've had so far this season. But we already have our winners graphic, and hopefully it will stay as it is. Hopefully for Gabor Santos' purpose, because wow, what a race that was. And he is a fully deserving victor here in Belgium. And what an absolutely ridiculous race that ended up being. I mean, we had a 4 wide. I don't think I've ever seen a 4 wide in such a tight corner with that chicane right at the end. The bus stop, wow, is the only word I can think of describing it. Technically, it's not a word. So it's a onomatopoeia. But there we go.
I just want to butt in here.
What?
So I'm looking next on chat. I've just had a conversation with Luca Rapassa, and he was not too happy with Angelo Di Attenzo, and I believe that those two made contact, which put the champion out of shape, and that allowed Gabor to get through. So maybe Alpine having a bit of argy-bargy to get one driver into the lead. Rapasa definitely not happy, so expect Stewart's report there. But without a doubt, Gab will be, without the Hungarian, will be loving that race. But I don't think Luca Rapasa will be best of pleased.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see in the stewards' reports, and just a quick little promo. If you want to see the final results, all these sorts of things will be available on all of the EXA socials, whether you're watching this on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch. The final results will be posted on some more socials. They'll be posted on the Twitter, hopefully the TikTok as well, and hopefully the Instagram as well. We're kicking those off once again, so make sure to stick around and find out. But we'll take you right to the end with a lovely little... say that Shontos was going to be in trouble with the stewards, and I would have been absolutely devastated. But in the end, he wasn't, and Gabor Shontos came home to take that victory. That is Gabor Shontos with that race victory in round 3, and it's certain that he was not the expected victor today, but he was certainly be taking that one.
What a race! I was struggling to keep my breath, and even you, who wasn't doing the last lap, said you was as well. So that just proves how mental it was. My highlight of that race, 4 abreast into the bus stop chicane. I think it was lap 20 of 22. So I was so surprised there wasn't a Singapore 2017 moment. But next week we head out to Asia, to the Shanghai International Circuit in China, where our elite drivers will take to the Chinese Wonderland, and our X1 Circus will be racing around Shanghai. Who will be able to take the crown in China? Find out next week. Will it be another shock winner? Can Rapasa reclaim a win? Or will Kian Gondorp, who I believe was the most deserving after leading for so long, can Kian win once again, as he did in Sao Paulo? Find out next week. And is there anything that you would want to mention before we most likely cut off?
Well, I mean, that 4-wide moment will... generational moves were made tonight. Generational races were had. And, well, unfortunately, we didn't get the entire race, but we got the exciting part. We got the best bit. We got the 4-wide in the safety car restart. And it was fate that we just went to... we rejoined on the safety car restart. So everything was just applied to this race. Everything was set up to just be such an incredible race. And that is certainly what we had. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. Make sure to stick around, follow all of those socials, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.